Alright then.
Good evening everyone and welcome to TTML. We are here for Division 5 action. It is a Friday night as we take in Season 2, Round 2, the Chinese Grand Prix from the Shanghai International Circuit. As you could hear by the giggles, it is myself, James Head, taking you through the action here tonight as your lead commentator, and joining me in the commentary box. It isn't a Friday night without him. It is Mr. Daniel Hoggart. Dan, how you doing?
Thanks for the warm introduction, James. Hello everybody and welcome to round 2 of Division 5 here tonight, and I'm looking forward to this one, James. Last round at Bahrain was an electrifying race, and I do very much hope that this round at China is no different. So we've got 17 drivers in the lobby. We'll be going very shortly, get into round 2 of this season. Let's get it started very soon.
Yeah, and when Dan said about Bahrain, it is very rare to see a reserve driver leading the championship, and that is what we've got here tonight. And I can see him within the lobby as well. There was a little bit of uncertainty from Caller Damon as if he wasn't going to get a reserve seat. He has. He's in the Alfa Romeo, and he's out on top in the championship on 30 points. Mays obviously finishing second, and Jibby Storm finishing third last time out. And looking at these drivers standings, Caller Damon does lead on 30 points, with Mays in second on 25. Jibby Storm in third on 20 points, with Stian Rambo in fourth on 18 points. Sapmi King as well in fifth on 15 points. And then in sixth we've got Schmitsky in sixth on 14 points. I'm getting mixed up here. Parcells in seventh on 13 points, with Jack Roos in 8th on 12, NSR Storm in 9th on 11, and Salas in 10th on 10 points. Looking down the rest of the field as well, we've got Bart in 11th on 9, Hulkenberg and Freak Ronk, great names both of them, both on 8 points in 12th, Torenheim in 14th on 6, and Jeffrey only taking the fastest lap, the pole position points. He's in 15th on 2 points. Demiles and Victor serve the Blessed Nilsson and Rock City yet to score any points out there on track. And what I totally forgot, by the way, is to get the constructor standings. So while I get those, Dan, Crawler Damon leading the championship, May second. I didn't expect that top 3 coming from Bahrain, to be honest.
Certainly not, but we will see if if those drivers are able to hold on to that and try and move forward further in this second round at China. It does share some similarities to Bahrain, but quite a lot of differences. It is first and foremost actually a a track with very high tyre degradation and very tricky as well. A lot of long corners that are really going to put a lot of load on those tyres. So keep an eye out on that. And yet it's a lot of medium speed flowing corners essentially, and of course a couple of snail shaped turns around the track as well. Very long turns. A track that, I'm going to be honest, I'm not particularly fond of, but hopefully it does tend to, on this game, I think, produce good racing. Keep an eye out for overtaking, particularly into that hairpin in the third sector. So there's just some little pointers to look out for here tonight. James, do you have the constructors ready?
I do indeed have the constructors ready, but before that I'll just pick up on your point there. And I said in commentary both on Tuesday night and on Thursday as well in China that this race is not really fond of the drivers, but I think more so the viewers. The viewers love, I think, watching around, getting the overtake scene on track. The drivers, not so much. They think this track is terrible. But we go to an even worse track next week in Spain. But I'll let my comments slide for next week as we will run through the constructor standings out on track. I don't want to get fired on the spot. Racing Point in first on 30 points, with Mercedes in second on 25. AlphaTauri in third on 24 points, with Williams in fourth on 22. Renault in 5th on 13, with Alfa Romeo in 6th on 11, Haas in 7th on 8, Red Bull in 8th on 2, McLaren and Ferrari yet to pick up any points there on the nil point, right down there at the back of the field. And Racing Point obviously taking a real good haul of points. Mercedes 2nd, AlphaTauri in 3rd. Quite close, obviously, with it being the first round of the standings. But looking at that, Racing Point have really got to pick up from where they left off in Bahrain to really get a good result here tonight in China.
Yeah, we'll see, of course, how they are able to try and pull that out. Of course, Jebby Storm performing very well last time out in particular. We'll see if he can carry that form forward here tonight. So we'll keep an eye out on that. We're getting very close now to the start of the session. We are starting to load into this one. And just to you, James, try not to diss too many other tracks. You might be losing that head commentator role. We'll see.
How dare you? Terrible. Now he's put himself in for the spot. That's what it is. He wants to get my spot.
I never said that. I never said that.
Anyways, we're about to go into qualifying here in China at the Shanghai International Circuit. No fancy track map to take you through. We now load into the lobby. We don't want to get overshadowed, by the way, by the 24 hours of league racing event and the teams are getting announced currently, so we're not getting overshadowed, I hope, by that here tonight. But I can see you guys in the comment section there as well. And also Division 4 is also live. Graham Chappell and Cowboy going to be taking you through the action. I said last night, of course, that Mike would be taking the role. Cowboy can make it, so Cowboy is alongside Graham, and the two Irishmen are doing their bits, of course, in Division 4 as your commentary team for that. But in Division 5, it is myself and Daniel Hoggard taking you through the action, and we've got 17 drivers, I do believe, if I'm not miscounting. We've got 18 drivers, so you can tell my maths ability right from the bat there. And Maka, looking down at the bottom, I think reserved, he's owned up as a reserve during the week. Not sure of his pace. I haven't commentated on before, and I haven't seen him before, actually, as well.
He's a driver that I actually have talked to personally. So I do know a little bit about him. Very experienced league racer, has been racing for quite a considerable amount of time. Not exactly sure what he's like on this game, so we'll see how he sort of compares to the rest of the 18-car grid that we have here tonight. These next few rounds are going to be key because we're going to be able to kind of determine which drivers are going to be up the front and consistently. And, you know, in a few weeks' time, we may be able to start to suss out some of the real championship contenders ahead of this next race. Of course, you had Corla Damon superbly won the last round from 9th on the grid, but this is a different story now. China, different track, and a slightly different lineup of drivers as well. Keep an eye out because we could be seeing a different winner here tonight. Different drivers, you know, kind of prospering and faring well up at the front. So keep an eye out. We can see if anyone that caught our eyes at Bahrain can deliver yet again here at China.
Well, Schmidtsky is the first out on track then, and he is, interestingly, on a set of medium compound of tyres as well. And it is quite a high tyre degrading circuit around here. I always say it's about 5% a lap on a set of softs, 4% on a set of mediums. And Schmidtsky going out on a set of mediums, clearly feeling that he hasn't got confidence in going on the softs just yet. And we saw that last night with a couple of drivers as well early on in qualifying in Division 2. Just talk us through, though, the strategy here in qualifying, because Schmidtsky will be aiming, as the track evolves, to go quicker and quicker when he puts on eventually onto that set of softs.
Yeah, absolutely. But the soft tyres in the race aren't very strong at all. I think at the end you may be seeing quite a large proportion of the drivers opting for softs anyway. But on the first run, you're seeing quite a few medium runners. I think a soft tyre strategy at this track is possible, but I wouldn't recommend it. I think the mediums are certainly a better tyre to start on, and so the drivers that qualify outside the top 10 will probably favour that strategy instead. But we'll see, of course. We have Schmidtsky lining up their medium tyres. A lot of drivers, the majority of the drivers actually, that are out on track on the mediums and trying to get a reference one on those. So we'll see how they all fare. Schmidtsky's got the first car in the Williams, coming through the last corner and over the line. Let's see how he tackles this Chinese racetrack.
Yeah, could have taken a wide out line coming through the final corner, just breaking that through turn 16. Now on the run up towards turn 1, the sun really glinting into the eyes of the drivers as he now comes through turns 1 and 2. That's Nilsson on the racing line, hopefully going to be getting out of the way. In fact, he's came out on a gaggle of cars, it seems. There's a McLaren, there's a Racing Point as well, and more than that one, Schmidtski nearly goes a careering into the back of Nilsson with that little bit of oversteer. We've got Sia Rambo on a lap behind him as well. 24.6 through the first sector is not bad at all. Considering he's in traffic, I think Schmidtski will be hoping to not get in the way of Salas, or Salas will certainly not be hoping to get in the way of Schmidtski, who is on a lap behind. And I think Salas is not going to jump out the way. It's a very difficult part of the track to get out the way at without picking up an invalidation. So Schmidtski now through turns 9 and 10. Got Freak Fronk and Salas out in front of him. Salas now gets out the way. Freak Fronk will give him a little bit of a tow, 52.9 through the first sector. And in fact, he's got his teammate ahead of him, which is not too bad at all. As Crawler Damon has retired from the pit lane coming through the final corner. I think that was on an outlap as well. So Crawler Damon, championship leader, already at the session with 3.5 minutes gone. Schmidtski then running down the straight. Freak Fronk is going to get out of the way, hopefully to the right hand side of him. I hope really Freak Fronk gets out of the way any second now. I don't think he is. The Schmidtski now runs down in towards turn 14. Very tricky on the braking zone, this one. And through safely there. And Schmidtski will be aiming for 133, I think, to start off the bat. Hasn't been the cleanest lap, of course, with the gaggle of cars that he came out, but it is going to be a 133.7 across the line. Stian Rambo ran the final corner, interestingly as well, on a set of mediums. He comes across the line and will go quicker than Schmidtski by 0.4 of a second. And we have got Jibby Storm on a set of softs coming around the final corner as well. Nellis goes quickest with a 32.9, but Jibby Storm on a set of softs is going to obliterate everyone at this early stage. 31.9, that is more like it for a pole position lap. So Jibby Storm goes top by a full second to Nellis.
Very impressive early on from Jimmy Storm. Had a good showing at Bahrain, although Jeffrey on mediums has gone even faster. Wow, a 131.8. That is one way to kick off your qualifying session. Jeffrey would have been so disappointed last time out. I think that was Satmi King and Zero. They both got onto the board as well. Good lap actually from Zero, backing up somewhat his teammate Jeffrey, but Jeffrey immediately shining to the top. And, you know, after that horrible racing out of Bahrain, looking for better than a 131.8, that is going to take some beating. 5 minutes into the session, and we already may have a lap that could even be challenging for pole position. We'll see, of course. A lot of drivers to go on the soft tires, but Jeffrey, hugely impressive. We'll see if anyone could top it as we come to the end of the first runs here in quali.
Yeah, you've got to think as well with how the tyres are going to evolve and how the track's going to evolve as well. Most of these guys are setting a set of medium compound of lap. As Invictus comes in 31.1, that is exactly what I want to prove. Jeffrey 31.8. Inevitably, I think he is going to find over a second on that lap. Naturally, it's about 1.2, 1.3 seconds a lap that you can find around here on an average basis. You can't even go quicker than that. So it'll be very interesting to see how Jeffrey gets on. Zero second best on a set of mediums down there in 4.32.3. Again, another one that'll be hoping to scrape maybe into the 130s of the Renault round, actually, just in front of Serve the Blessed. I think that might have been Passels out on the track.
Yeah, Passels getting off there, coming out of turn 10. Very difficult traction zone, actually. You have to kind of apply the throttle while you're turning, which is the case at several corners on this track, which is why I think a lot of the drivers, as you mentioned earlier, aren't particularly well acquainted with it, but you know they're going to have to deal with what they're dealt with. And yeah, Passels just getting a bit wrong there. A lot of time to rectify that, of course. Currently in 8th place, the Renault in a 132.8. Looking for any more drivers that are on flying laps. I have located Nilsson and the McLaren now, heading down towards turn 11 at 51.4. Through the second sector. We'll see if we can try and keep that progress up. A little bit of oversteer though coming out, and now powering now round turn 13. Such a long corner, and you get on the throttle as early as you can to carry speed down one of the longest straights in the F1 calendar. He's getting a good little tow there from Silas, who does pull towards the right hand side of the track, out of the way. Now to turn 14, 330 plus kilometers, and now we're onto the brakes again. First gear, kick of 15, hard to apply the throttle, but Nilsson gets on it nicely in the McLaren. Now, for the final corner, just to mention, Jaff Rose has gone up there, currently in 131.5, sorry, for second place. But that is now replaced by Nilsson himself, a 131.4, just in front. McLaren 1-2 professionally. Solid start for those boys. Invictus, though, still in that pole position, but I think the really impressive lap is Jeffrey on a 131.8 on the mediums. He has switched to softs in the pit lane, so we could see what the Red Bull could really do and see if he can maybe, on the soft tyres, challenge and try and take that pole back from Invictus.
Yeah, there is Jeffrey, and I think that's Jippy Storm as well, coming out the pit lane behind him out on track. The other racing point of Silas is still out there, so it has to be Jippy Storm coming out behind him. And Jeffrey will be aiming to improve, as I say, about 1.2, 1.3 seconds on this lap. He has the natural pace to do it. He was pole position, I think, in Bahrain last week, if I'm not mistaken. Absolutely obliterated the field in the end. Jippy Storm there in 5th, but big talking point early on, if you are just tuning in, we're nearly halfway through qualifying. Crawler Damon spinning through the final corner, the current championship leader, who's also a reserve driver, he is down pretty much at the back of the field and is already out of qualifying. So that is the big talking point, and he is going to have to do it the hard way, right from the back, to maintain his championship lead. Just seeing if there's anybody on a lap currently. Schmidtsky, I think, might be. He comes now around, coming through the final couple of corners. In fact, ignore me. I think he might be preparing to come into the pit lane here. Yeah, he is. Schmidtsky into the pit lane. And Maka, 150.2, getting used to the game through the first sector. Let's see what he's going to do through the first sector. 23.9, there or thereabouts. But I think he made a mistake through that middle sector, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think he does have, obviously, much more in that. They're not a representative time. We'll keep an eye on Maka, as he seems to be one of the only cars on a lap there, as he does get a little bit offline, but going through turn 7, but just about managed to wrestle it back and keep it on the island. This second sector will be a good indicator as where he has runs very wide. Coming out turn 10, just about keeps it on. That is a quick second sector, which is a 51.1. And we'll see if the Ferrari driver is able to maybe turn things around. Heading around now, turn at 13. Getting onto the throttle again there. Invictus is the top time. Interestingly, he's gone back out of the pit lane on medium tyres. Does he fancy that he can go even faster than that? Seems unlikely, but we'll see if he can pull it off. Maka now on to the brakes. In a turn 14, looks fairly solid. Gets back with the power on exit then. Now headed for the final corner. Actually, he's going to pull towards the pit lane. His time through the second sector looked pretty good to me, but the Ferrari is going to go pit lane bound, and he's not going to finish off that lap. So we'll see how he's able to fight on later on. But his first and second sector times, interestingly, were actually quite similar to Invictus. What's happened?
Jeffrey 7/10 up in the middle sector alone.
Wow.
He has found 7/10 in that middle sector. He was 900 up through the first, 7/10 up now through the second, and he is absolutely charging on this lap. We've got Jippy Storm as well behind him out on track as well, who is around the same level of pace, so it's going to be fascinating to see. Don't blame me if Jippy Storm goes ahead of Jeffrey. Jeffrey will go, I think, pole with this lap as he comes around now through the final couple of corners out on track. I might have just commentators cursed him if he invalidates, which he hasn't, and he has. I knew it. I knew it. 30.7 anyways, it would have been. Wow. Jippy Storm through the final corner now. I don't think he's improving that much, to be honest, Jippy Storm. And indeed he doesn't. He's 2.5 tenths improved, but he goes 4th. And it's not a Friday night, and it's not a stream without a James Head commentator's curse.
It was a 0 and a 135, which is actually faster than Jeffrey's lap on the softs that invalidated. And he was actually quite impressive on the mediums as well, and 0 now showing up there. Comfortably the fastest driver out there at the moment. Invictus did go out yet again on the mediums, but doesn't seem to have fully committed to a lap. But yeah, 0. That is some margin to be at the top by 6.5 tenths of a second. Wow. That is quite a statement. Both the Red Bull drivers looking extremely pacey out there. 0 now a pole. Can anyone try and match that lap now? We have just over 6 minutes to go left in this qualifying session.
Yeah, May's coming across the line there, going 3rd best out of the current medium runners out on track, 32.4. Out on track going 8th. He will inevitably improve on that lap. Schmidtsky is 300 down on his lap there. 5 tenths up though through the first sector, and he'll be hoping to try and make big gains coming through. See McLaren there jumping into the pit lane. We've got a Red Bull as well out on track, which will be Jeffrey, and a Ferrari, which will be Nellis, who I think is on a lap, and he's 8 tenths up coming through the turn 14 hairpin, now through 15, famously where Vettel and Verstappen got entangled, remember, a couple of years back, as now Nellis comes through the final corner. He's going to be there or thereabouts, I think, with this lap. Nellis across the line, he goes third, 131.3, 8 tenths off the back, but he found at least a near second on that final sector alone. So Nellis improving big time there and goes third. Schmidtsky towards the end of his lap here as well is going to be the one of the next to come across the line. We've got the other Williams, a Freak Ronker, I think, has just started a lap as well. Let us know how you feel in the comment section, by the way. I see Corcannon from League of Europe tuning into the comments and saying he likes the commentary so far. Maze, by the way, coming in and saying that you applied for the head commentator's role as well.
Wow, I cannot believe that, Maze. That's a complete fabrication, and you know it. Let's get out to the line. Goes in the second of 131 flat. I'm sorry, I know Maze's status within the league, but please do not spread lies about me.
Maze honestly might be living up to a certain American president at this stage as well. I've gone there straight off the bat.
Let's not get political on stream now, James.
Noted across the line there, 31.4. He was 5 tenths off in the end. I think we've got Rock City just starting a lap there as well. I'm just trying to see if there's anybody on a lap. Freak Ronker 6 tenths up through the middle sector. And he's not looking too bad on this lap. He's feathers of throttle actually coming through the hairpin. You can take that flat out. A Freak Ronk, 33 flat. Where do you expect him to go? I'm expecting him around Stian Rambo sort of area.
Yeah, we will see, of course. I think that's useful. I actually think he may well be around about the kind of Jeffy Storm to Jeffrey kind of area. We'll see where he can get up. There's a little bit of a competition almost between us. But here goes Freak Funk now in the Williams. Hopefully he doesn't invalidate. Let's not speak too soon. He does get round the final corner. Okay, and now to the line. Ooh. And yeah, smug face time, I think that is.
Terrible.
Good lap from Freak Funk, but thanks for not letting me down in the Williams. He goes into 8th place. We'll see where he's able to go in the rest of the session. May's now out now. He's retired in the pit lane. I guess he's satisfied with that.
Yeah, I think he's going to try for the medium strategy right off the start. So I think that's why he's retired out on track. Well, he's retired in the pit lane, but he's retired anyways out on track. Freak Funk, by the way, is a 10th up through the first sector, so we might watch on board with this for a little bit longer as well. We've got Nulson on a lap, interestingly, 31.4. He's got to find a little bit of time. He's 2 tenths up in this middle sector. Can he find more time coming through the final corner? I think, honestly, if he wants to commit to another lap, he would have gone into the pit lane there. But Nulson to the line, goes second, 30.7. Out on track, 6.5 tenths more improved. And he goes second for now. Rock City comes in there as well with a 130.9. And the Haas coming across the line, I think, was served the Blessed. I'm not sure if he invalidated on his lap. And he did invalidate. And he's got this and next lap invalidated by the looks as well.
Yeah, it might have been out that last corner then. Very unlucky for Serve the Blessed. Currently down in 15th place at the moment. I'm not sure what the reaction is, James, but I see Yellow's out there.
Yeah, Stian Rambo off through turn 4, that is. Coming out of turn 4. Very interesting. He was getting out of the way of all of the other drivers around. And he's got left side end plate damage, I think. No, he hasn't. That's my eyesight going completely wrong. So I'm not sure why he got out of the way. But he's another one with a this and next lap invalidated, sadly. So Stian Rambo will be hoping to try and improve on his lap time next time around. Just trying to see if there's anybody on a lap. I think Invictus has just started a lap, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, Invictus heading now around turn 2. We'll keep an eye out on the McLaren. Was professional pole setter earlier on in the session. Just been demoted. We'll see if he can try and find time on this lap. The McLaren heads to the end of the first sector and onto the brakes of the turn 6. 3 tenths up in the first sector. The Williams just in front, happily. Just about getting away. Spins it though on the traction out of turn 6. And Invictus making a critical error. It was a fantastic first sector, but he's now out the session. Hopefully his AR card doesn't block anyone else on laps. Invictus, though, critical mistake. He'll start no higher than 5th. Maybe at the lower end of the top 10 on soft tyres. That's exactly, well, that completely contradicts what he wanted there. Heartbreak for Invictus, and well, that's his evening severely compromised now.
Yep, Stian Rambo as well into the pit lane. Another McLaren of Nulson, I think, into the pit lane as well. So they're not going to be getting extra laps in out on track. I'm just trying to see who's going to be closest to the line. Zero around the final corners, back into the pit lane, so he is satisfied. that he's going to be on pole position? I don't think so. I think, you know, Nellis or Schmidtski, or Jibby Storm, in fact, might have a good lap in him. Jibby Storm, of course, 31.6 currently. He's now coming down through turn 13 there, now down the 1 kilometre straight. Opens up the DRS in excess of 200 mile an hour. Rock City is satisfied. He is retired in the pit lane as well. Schmidtski has just started up on a lap as well. Jibby Storm now coming through the final couple of corners out on track. This is looking like a very neat lap so far from Jibby Storm as he now comes around the final corner out on track. We see Maka going 8th on a set of mediums, 31.5. Wow. Great lap from Maka as Jibby Storm comes across the line to improve to 31.2. Not good enough just yet. Jeffrey, 1.2 seconds up through the middle sector. Purple lit up across the first and the middle sector currently, and Jeffrey has got to lay it all on the line here. Do you know what? I think he might even break into the 129s. I feel I am that confident with this lap. He looks good. The other Racing Points, I should say, across the line with Salas. I think he didn't get another lap in. There's a Haas just ahead of him as Jack Roos getting out of the way. Also, the Blesser actually retiring out on track. But Jeffrey through the final corner to the line now. It's not going to be a 29, but it's a 30.3, and he goes quickest for now. Schmidtski is invalidated a 10th down. Jack Roos is through the middle sector. So he's looking quite good. Nellis as well, 3/10 down through the middle. And Jack Roos, I'm not sure how he's doing in terms of the sector time. But Nellis coming around the final corner. I think, honestly, Jeffrey has really got this for pole position, I think. Nellis across the line. Doesn't improve, 6,000ths of a second off. Mac is not improving and Jack Roos is not improving either. So we've only got Sapmi King then, who is improving a second. 32.6, so a second would improve him up into 11th. Currently, and he's still got the final sector to complete. So let's have a look as he now runs down through that DRS detection zone. 2, of course, out on track, and we'll come and have a look at that in the formation lap in more detail. Sapmi King, though, through turn 14. And now, through turn 15, the King through 15, and then through the left-hander of 16, Sapmi King now has got to lay it all on the line. I don't think he's going quicker. Sapmi King toward the line. No, good lap, nonetheless, goes 4th. Real good improvement there in the final sector. 30.7 out on track, and he goes 4th. But that is the end of qualifying. We just wait on Schmidtski, Jack Roos and Maka to retire. Jeffrey out on top, and a Red Bull 1-2 with 0 second and Nilsson in 3rd.
I saw earlier on in the session how impressive the Red Bull drivers were on the mediums at the start, and it has all came full circle for the end. And yes, they are on the front row of the grid, and in the end it's a Red Bull dominated affair here in qualifying here tonight. Quite impressive laps further down there. I'm certainly looking forward to seeing how Maka fares. On the medium tyres, I believe, was by far the quickest lap that was actually set on them throughout the session. And of course, your championship leader, Crawler Damon, fighting back from the rear of the field. Take us through it, Aiden? I get too used to that. Sorry. Take us through it, James, for the qualifying results.
He wants to take my job, but he calls me the wrong name. What next? Jeffrey out on top in qualifying from 0 in 2nd. Nilsson in 3rd. Sapmi King in 4th. Rock City in 5th. Schmidtski 6th. Invictus in 7th. Jibby Storm in 8th. Jack Roos in 9th. Nellis filling out the top 10. All top 10 start on a set of soft compound of tyres unless they're the second, separating them. Maka in 11th from Freak Bronk in 12th. Stian Ramble 13th. Salas 14th. Passels 15th. Mays in a promising position actually from 16th position. He could make his way up the field early. So the Blessed in 17th, and Crawler Damon, the current championship leader, down at the back of the field, didn't even get a lap in. As we now cut to David, as I'm now going to call him out on track. What can we expect coming into qualifying here tonight? In China, in China, because this is quite a high degradation circuit. It's going to be crucial, I think, to get the strategy right.
Yeah, definitely. And also, one thing that's very interesting to note is that the top 2 finishers at Bahrain starting right at the rear of the field here in China. So they're going to be drivers to really keep your eye on, because they could seriously, of course, put on a show. They need to try and make amends, get themselves further up here. And what we're seeing now is that you had, of course, your drivers that shone at Bahrain. At least in qualifying, what we're seeing then, different sort of gravy up at the front there. A lot of new faces up near the front of the grid, and we'll see how they convert it to the race. We could have more championship contenders potentially flying onto the map here at China.
We could indeed, and China is one of those tracks where it can make or break a season this early on. This is only the second round, but it can make or break a season. If you get a good performance in here, you're going to be really on top towards the end of the season. And I think the more confidence that you build during the season, the more confidence that will flow with you during the season as well. As we see everyone now on a set of soft compound tyres in the top 10. Looking down at the strategies though, everyone bar Maze and Crawler Damon, so the top two from last time out in Bahrain, both going for the set of hard compounded tyres. And a set of hards without any interruption from a safety car would go, what, 18, 19, 20 laps nearly, I would think?
Yeah, they can go very deep into the race, and maybe because they had such disasters in qualifying, they could maybe be banking on a potential safety car in a division that often provides as much chaos as Division 5 and as much close racing as well. Certainly wouldn't be surprised if we see a safety car at one point in the race, but if it comes at the wrong time, that could severely hamper their strategy. But I think for the most part, Maze and Crawler Damon are more so just playing the long game, trying to wait for the traffic to thin out, and then when they have faster tyres on at the end of the race, use that as an opportunity to really charge through when the field's more spread out and they can pick their way through nicely and try and get up the field and claim all the points that they can possibly get to make up for that poor qualifying showing.
Yeah, you can see, actually the predicted pit stop strategy's just gone off the screen, but lap 6 to 7 was predicted from a softs to a set of hards for Jeffrey. The other two-stop strategy, I think it might be the quickest strategy underneath the safety car. It's going to be fascinating to see how these guys get on track. And by the way, do not trust these AWS graphics within the game. Expect these guys maybe to start pitting in from lap 4, lap 5. I've seen even drivers pit in from lap 3 and trying to get a one-stop in from the end to the end of the race. So Jeffrey and Zero will be controlling it out on top, but I've got to push you, David, for a top 3. Here in China, who's your top 3?
I'm gonna say Zero for the race win, because I think he may well just about be able to see it through. We'll see how Jeffrey fares, but I'm not sure if he'll be able to convert. We'll see though. I think that the medium start may be the best one to go for, so I'm actually going to say Maka for second. I know I do know him, that may be a bit of faith putting in him, but we'll see if he can try and fight it through the field. And I'm going to throw a wild card in Crawler Damon for the podium, who knows? We'll see. Bit of a mixed up prediction, but nothing else has worked for me in prediction, so we've got to try and make something work.
Well, you're better than me at predicting, so you never know what could happen here in China. Round 2 of the championship is about to be getting away, and we see the run down towards from turn 1 as the 5 red lights come on here in China for round 2 of the championship. And it's a quick lights on and to light down, and we've got Zero gets a tremendous start, and I think he's already got Jeffrey on the run towards turn 1. Jeffrey to the outside line, a little bit of wheel spin coming off the gravel, coming off the guys in behind further down. Oh, Nelson and Sammy King have had contact coming through turn 2. Nelson coming across on Sammy King. Sammy King sent round down to the back of the field. He goes. Maze is up a couple of positions early on. Silas is round as well through turn 3. He is spun. I'm not sure if he got caught in contact with anyone. Nelson is round as well. All sorts of carnage happening early on, but the 2 Red Bulls still lead. Zero and Jeffrey through the first sector out in front. Rock City third. Nellis up to 4th. Schmidtsky 5th and Victor 6th. Maka is up to 7th as well. Looking further down the field, most positions gained obviously would be Maze. Freak Gronk is right on the back of Jack Roos as well. So these two have a good battle in Bahrain. Jimmy Storm tries to go to the inside line, and now around the outside goes Freak Gronk on Jack Roos. Can he get the move done on a set of mediums? He gets him down there through turn 9. Can he get the move done? No. Nelson has spun again through the S section through 8, and Freak Gronk, I think, wise to the fact he doesn't want to go for the move early. Maze, however, could go for the move down in towards turn number 11, and that's a great move by Maze down the inside on Freak Gronk. And CN Rambo has lost control of the car just in the background of shot there as well, so he pulls off and he's right behind, or he's right in front of Sappy King. Really bad start, I think, to be honest. Quite a lot going on. Zero on top, Jeffrey second, Rock City all over the back in third, but just a hectic start.
Yeah, chaos out there on track. There was not expecting, I mean, I guess it is China. China can be quite accident prone throughout the first few corners. We did unfortunately see evidence of that. Hopefully it doesn't keep up, of course. Looking further up the field though, and there's our much loved graphical glitch kicking in and confusing the life out of us. So we're just going to try and keep an eye out on any potential battles out on track. Zero though, fantastic reaction time and launch off the line as well.
Actually,
comfortably clear in the end.
Oh,
and what's
Invictus!
going on, James?
Invictus down the inside through turn 3, gets the move done on Schmidtski. That was for P5, out on track. Invictus is through, down the inside line. It's like the parting of the Red Sea at the curb, to be honest. He is through and he's up into P5. Great move there by Invictus. At a track at a corner you don't really associate with overtaking either.
Yeah, but you can take so many different lines there that sometimes it can just open up into turn 3, and that's what you're seeing there. So Invictus, yeah, brilliantly timed to move through, and now starting to threaten Nellis as well. So he is looking very strong early on, is Invictus. We'll see if he can try and keep that progress up. So the soft runner still holding a bit of a stranglehold on the front of this race, but I predict that that may well change once they start to go off. I know from experience around here that they do not last very long. So we'll see, of course, how that all unfolds and what we're seeing, James.
Crawler Damon having a right half spin coming through turn 12 and 13. How on earth he kept the car control there was absolutely unbelievable. He was just chasing down Passels at the point as well. There's a little bit of action happening further down the field. There's Invictus and Nellis, I think, going side by side. And now they come through in the final corner. Nellis runs wide, Invictus runs wide also. Could let Schmidtski into play as well, but Invictus is through. Legally on track, Nelson ran wide and Victor's back through and he's into 4th position. So he gains the position actually on Nellis. Schmidtski in 6th. But most positions gained currently, Mays. Down from 16th position on the grid, he's up into 10th early on and he's chasing down Jack Roos as well.
Yes, superb start from Mays and superb charge, what we're seeing from Invictus. 2 overtakes in less than a lap. Nellis just made a handful of mistakes, both at the hairpin and down there at the final corner as well at turn 16. So that made that possession change hands, and Invictus now in the 4th, but with some ground to make up on the top 3 now. That gap has opened up to 2 seconds, so we'll see if he can now try and chase them down. Up at the front, Jeffrey trying to hone in on 0 there. He's sticking with them at the very least. Of course, your pole setter is not going to let that go away very easily. I'm seeing spin off there. That's Invictus gone round out of turn 10, and he's trying to get that back on the track. But the McLaren, after such a great sequence of moves, now back there. I think he's avoided damage just a bit, but Invictus, and he's spun off the tyres, I think, and he's got no rear grip anymore. So Invictus now relegated to the back of the field. That's disaster.
So the Blessed round.
And Sam the Blessed has gone round as well.
Yeah, catching on the curb, coming through, and he crashes into the wall. And he's got right side end plate damage, unfortunately, in Schmidtski and Nellis. Nellis going for the undercut on Schmidtski through 10-14. Can he get the move done? The Ferrari against the Williams. I should say, these guys, these teams, former F1 champions, of course, in constructors' terms. Schmidtski hanging on for 4th, Nellis in 5th. And I think actually Schmidtski got that move done, if I'm not mistaken, because obviously Invictus down into 16th. Schmidtski through and he's up into 4th.
Yeah, Schmidtski made the move down the inside, left himself open to attack, but was able to just about hold on. These 2 drivers now coming under attack from Maka, the other Ferrari, on the medium tyres by some margin. Is the leading medium brother out there and is now pressuring his teammate. Maka flying early on, and my tip for the podium, well, being a bit more optimistic now. Nell's a little bit wide out there, coming out of turn 6, will just about keep it together. But yeah, his teammate reeling him in. Schmidtski looks a little bit quicker. Nellis has looked like he's struggled more than most in this region of the field. I can see a bit of understeer in that Ferrari car. He's trying to keep it onto the island there. You can see him running wide. Both Nilsson and Serve the Blessed came into the pit lane on the last lap to get fresh hard tyres on. You mentioned that the hards can maybe go about close to 20 laps, but almost a full race distance. Well, that's going to be very optimistic. Schmidtski runs very wide out of 12. Will that potentially open the door?
Oh, Jeffrey's
doesn't get the best run on the inside, and Jeffrey's going round for P2. Going onto the straight. I think he put on the overtake, and it's cost him dear. Jeffrey from pole position. Now facing disaster. Spinning again. And Jeffrey.
Do you know what I think that has happened there? I think he's trying to take the wide out line and has got caught on the curb on the inside and it spun him. That's what I think happened. Invictus and Silas are going side by side though. In the meantime, Zero is in from the lead of the race. Very early pit stop for him. Invictus down the inside gets Silas, I think, for the move, but Silas is still there. This is for 14th and 15th currently out on track. As now we see a pit stop being made further up the field. Sapmi King, I think, has been through, but Invictus is through on Silas. Ran the outside. I got tight there, but he got the move done. Silas is going to try and come come back now. Maka is through on Nellis as well for P3 out on track. So the guy on the set of mediums, Maka, he's a reserve driver coming into tonight. He's just been outdone by Nellis actually as well. And Maka and Nellis are going side by side. It's Crawler Damon and Passos, I think, have had a collision further down the field, if I'm not mistaken. Passos has certainly got the car going again, but Maka's soon he's up into P3. We can't keep up.
It is mayhem out there on track.
Silas! Silas down the inside of him, Crawler Damon as well. Fresh after that mistake, Crawler Damon also losing another position to Silas.
Wow, Crawler Damon. We're not exactly sure of the absolute consequences of that contact between himself and Passos, but it's demoted the championship leader and winner from Bahrain right into where the field is losing again. Coming out of turn 10, just about kept that together, but my oh my, was he playing with fire out there. Up at the front, now Maka and Schmetzky are closing in on each other there. Maka tried to close the gap there, but he's running low on the ZRS, making his overtakes and cannot bridge the gap to the Williams driver just yet. Nell is still sitting very close, and there's a train forming as well. Look at where Maze is though. Maze is right with all of these guys on hard tyres. What a remarkable start this has been. We're now seeing pit stops coming through now. Rock City comes out for the racing and gets himself a 5-second penalty for speeding. So Rock City now in. We saw Zero in a little bit earlier, has clear air, can get an undercut, but I think that Maze is in a brilliant position here on the hards, could really use that for a platform to really attack later on in the race.
Has Rock City undercut Zero coming out the pit lane? It's going to be really close. I think he's done it, you know.
Oh
Rock City has done it on Zero. Has he got the move done? Yes! Rock City is out ahead of Zero, out on track. We see Crawler Damon and Silas changing positions, swiping through turn 3, but Rock City is now in the net lead of this race, out on track. He leads by 0.5 of a second, essentially. They're down in 13th for now, but that is the net lead of the race, currently out on track. And with all of the guys falling over each other, basically, it's going to make these guys running in clear air going to gain massively. And the gap between Schmitzky and Rock City is 16 seconds, basically.
Look at Nellis.
Oh, Nellis down
the inside on Maka.
Oh.
And at turn 11, they make contact. The two Ferraris coming together. Nellis so ambitious on the outside, and the inside, sorry, ran into the side of his teammate. Luckily, they are still pointed in the right direction, but Jimmy Storm now may be beginning to fancy his chances and trying to get up to them. Further back down the field, they're Crawler David going round the outside of Silas, going through 13, and he makes that one stick remarkably, incredibly. Crawler David trying to come back now on the offensive, but now he may be facing the wrath of him. No, and up in front though, look at Invictus going back to the outside now of Stain Rambo. They go into the braking zone level.
Oh,
Invictus
brilliant.
pinches him to the inside and makes the move stick. We're seeing more soft tires runners coming in now. But Invictus going through immediately pulls to the pit lane, passes now with a penalty. This is just incredible. So much accident, so much incident. We can barely keep up with it, and now all the soft tires seemingly into the pit lane. What order are they going to shuffle out in?
Crawler Damon trying to go down the inside through turn 3, forces Stan Rambo out wide and gets the move done. Great stuff actually from Crawler Damon. He tried to lunge it down the inside. It might have been a little bit of an unworthy move, but Stan Rambo's now going to try and come back, but he can't come back close enough because Crawler Damon is through, and he's up into P5 out on track. And look at where Silas is. He's in 7th, but look at Zero. 4.4 seconds off these guys. These guys, him and Rock City, are going to be gaining massively. Everyone else that has came into the pit lane, Zero and Rock City essentially have got the race between themselves because they're 8.5 seconds ahead of Schmitzky.
That is remarkable, and I think we missed Zero
Silas
getting past Rock City as though Silas. I cannot keep up with this anymore. But there's so much going on that we missed an overtake. I'm sorry for the net race lead. Zero was able to get through on Rock City somehow in the last lap that we didn't exactly clock. There's just, this is just overwhelming at this point. But yeah, now, as you mentioned though, that gap between Rock City and Schmitzky, that is huge, and I find it remarkable how they were able to establish such a massive gap. Now, interestingly, at the back of this train, Jack Rose has opted for the medium tires. Surely they cannot go to the end of the race. We will see that. I think the Haas driver is maybe going to, I think he may be committed to a two-stop strategy, which means that he has to get on with it, and he has to try and move through and clear this train, if he can, right up to the front of it, led by Schmitzky.
Yeah, Schmitzky currently in 10th, Nellis 11th, Jimmy Storm running out wide, coming through 10-14 there in P12. Jack Roos as you say, I think the tyre wear is going to be within his favour for now. In the short term, he's going to be right there or thereabouts. But Jack Roos will have to pit in again. Normally, on a set of mediums, you normally see the tyres last around 13, 14 laps, and then the guys will come into the pit. So with that being said, he's already been out there for 1 lap, given the graphics are a little bit glitched. So he's essentially got 14 more to do. Where does that put him? Around lap 21 onto a set of soft compound of tyres, and eventually he will go possibly for the race. And Crawler Damon is right on the inside line, coming through turn 9. Brilliant move on Passo. That is absolutely sensational. He's the championship leader on, and as soon as I say that, recovers the car. Now Passo is going to come back, and Cian Rambo is involved in this as well. On Cian Rambo goes into the back of Passel's. Right on end plate damage, I think there for Cian Rambo. Passel's running out wide. He's got no grip as Passel's on that tyres, and Crawler Damon gets through. How on earth he's recovering these his car out on track is absolutely beyond me. But look at what this has done. Zero, Rock City, are now right on the back of this.
That is remarkable. Passel's coming back and Cian Rambo now. Down the inside after the contact that they had. Now they're going wheel to wheel into the airman and Rock City running wide, and now he's going to drop it back there. Did he go for a lunge on Zero from a long way
too
back?
late on the brakes.
Cian Rambo, and he made a mistake on his own. Now Silas right inside of Cian Rambo. Now Zero taking advantage of this. To the outside, towards turn 1, he'll clear it before they reach turn 1. Zero putting a car between himself and Rock City. Jeremy with a penalty. Nellis now attacking Zemetsky out there, and Jimmy Storm right with him as well. Heading for turn 1, Zemetsky will just about hang on to it. This race is just remarkable. Zemetsky hanging on, Zero getting through now, and now attacking Silas out there, looking at the back of the racing point. Rock City attacking Cian Rambo as well. James, I cannot keep up. What a race we've seen in the first 8.5 laps here.
Absolutely unbelievable, but what I've got to say, and I've got to say this with a little bit of temperament as well, these guys are just over pushing that mark slightly. They've got to calm it down. They might be fighting well out on track, but they're not fighting too well out on track. They need to improve the racecraft, is what I'm trying to say. Jimmy Storm in the meantime on the back of Schmidtsky, trying to get the move done. Now coming through turn 8 out on track. Nellis Ballaway is through on Schmidtsky as well. He dived down the inside of turn 6, got that move done, and now he's through and he's up into P10 out on track. Jack Roos is right on the back of these guys on a set of mediums, and he'd be hoping to try and get him. But Passel, Salas now, round 2 between these two. And I think it's only going to go one way, or it might not, because Passos might have to run once again. But now with the DRS and the extra power, Salas is going to breeze on by. Zero right on the back of this as well. Looks like, though, cloud conditions. Oh, Zero nearly goes into the back of Rock City. Tries to do a Vettel down the inside of Verstappen almost. Coming through in there in 2017. Jimmy Storm and Schmidtsky swap positions further down the field. But honestly, this race is going from strength to strength, possibly. Maka leads. I honestly do not know how Maka has got a 5-second lead over Mays, because that gap was not 5 seconds the last time I looked.
Hey, Maka pulling away very remarkably up at the front, is now a long way clear of the next highest medium starter and Freak Frog. So we'll see how that all unfolds later on. Rock City had a lunge at Zero. I think Zero was caught out behind Passos, and it opened the door for Rock City. Thankfully, they didn't come together fully, but they've got to watch out for each other. There's Jack Russo on the attack on Zemetsky. They make contact, heading as Jeffries now out. He's retired in the pit lane though. Jack Russo, an ambitious move out of Zemetsky, who's lost out to Jimmy Storm now. He's really struggling out there as the Williams. But Jack Rose on the medium tyres cannot quite get through for now, but he is hounding him sitting on his rear wing. I do not want to look away from any battles at the moment. I do have to agree with your point though on the driving standards. They haven't exactly been perfect all the way through. We have seen a few too many incidents. Is that Rock City? Has he made a mistake? He's just about managed to wrestle it back. And these guys have been caught in so much traffic, but because the guys behind him are battling as well, it's not lost them out too much. Now Zero now attacking Passos. Yet again Passos though is using the overtake as ERS in his defence and trying to move away from the Red Bull. Covers the inside, heading for the airbag, and will maintain that possession out there. Yellow's out there because of Jeffrey's AI car that's still driving around there. Now Zero almost loses it coming off of turn 15, but this time he will just about keep it under him now. Silas with a penalty. Zero wasn't the best run through the last corner. Rock City again. There is Zemetsky running wide, and then Jack Rose finally gets through.
Yeah, Nellis as well went deep as well. Jibby Storm is now through and he's up into 9th. Jack Roos really getting the position there done on Schmitsky. Schmitsky ran out wide and he's now up into P11 out on track as well. Nellis is coming back now. Jibby Storm and Freak Ronka's retired coming through turn 4. And will that warrant a safety car out on track? Yes, it will. Safety car out on track here in China. Nearly a third of the way, or just over a third of the way through. It's Maka who leads, Mays second, Caller Damon and third. And now the important thing is all of these guys on a set of mediums or on a set of hards have been given a free run at the race. Look what happened last night in Division 2. Zwedema and Gary took the first and second position from 12th and 13th on the grid. It can be done, and we had 2 safety cars last night in Division 2.
Yeah, we'll see if these strategies, go through yet another shift. I think this has really favoured Maka in this race. Now leads by over 6 seconds ahead of Mays. What does Mays do? Because it's going to be really tough for if he wants to put on mediums in the pit stop, for him to try and take those to the end of the race. Maka will surely come in as well as Silas and Passels. They've been gifted potentially a great opportunity in this race. What do the other drivers do that are still relatively fresh hards? They may well lose their net race lead. Maka heading for the pit lane now, and Mays, what does he do? As well as Corla Damon, those drivers are going to come in. Yamaka coming in. Mays also adding Corla Damon. Do they go for mediums and try and play their luck? See if they can go to the end. See if they can go to the end of the mediums.
Yeah, possibly so. Maka is hoping to go on to a set of hard compound of tyres, and indeed they will get to the end quite easily. 16 laps on that tyre, and I think Zero only coming around the final corner now. He's now not going to stick to that delta time, so he will be out in front. Rock City will be in second, but Maka is in third position, out on track and on 5-lap fresher tyres. We saw this last night actually with one of the drivers up there in the field from the safety car. He was on 5-lap younger tyres and couldn't get through. So it's going to be fascinating to see how this race unfolds. Lap 12 out of 28 just begun. We are under the safety car if you are just tuning in to Division 5 action here tonight. Nilsson picks up a 3-second time penalty for cutting the track, and I think that was cutting into the pit lane if I'm not mistaken, where he picked up that 3-second time penalty. How on earth he can cut into the pit lane is absolutely beyond me around this track. But Zero, Rock City, Maka, your current top 3 out on track. But look at Mays, 16 laps on those set of mediums. Remember where he started. He started all the way down in 16th, yes that's right, 1/6 position out on track, and he's now 4th. It's like everything has rolled around him. It's like, honestly, Moses parting the Red Sea and Mace has just taken full advantage of it.
Yeah, and there's also a Crawler Damon as well, who started 18th, yes, 1/8, and now runs in 7th after an earlier race spin, I believe. So that just shows how much this safety car has changed things, and how much it has benefited those that started on the mediums and particularly the hards. We'll see now if Mays can make that strategy work as well as Crawler Damon. That's going to be fascinating. Passels has gone for the soft tires, the only driver in the field. So watch out for the Renault. Maybe he can try and make a charge coming through, but we'll see now. You mentioned that little anecdote from last night. Can Maka kind of go against that history and maybe challenge Rock City and Zero? But if he's going to be doing that, I think he, in the laps, at least the first few laps after the safety car, Mays is going to be the real one to watch in that battle up the front there. He has much better tyres, they're softer compound, and I think he can really use that then. We'll see if he can try and get the tyres in the right temperature range, really use that to good effect, and we could maybe be seeing Mays challenging for the lead in a few laps if he can get those overtakes going.
Yeah, and if he gets those tyres warmed up as well, as actually the pit window was actually just reopened for Mays out on track for a one-stop strategy onto a set of medium compounded tyres. I don't think those AWS graphics are that reliable, to be honest. But Zero out on top from Rock City second, Maka in third. And yeah, why does the game have to bring up an AWS graphic when he's just literally came into the pit lane? It's absolutely ridiculous, but still. What I think the safety car might do actually is stay at another lap, because I've just realised Serve the Blessed is all the way down on that back straight there. Now they're down in towards turn 6. The virtual Burt Marlander is down in towards turn 6, and Serve the Blessed is at turn 14. Now you might think he will get onto the back, but I don't think that's the case. The safety car lights would normally go out just before turn number 11 out on track, and that's the left-hander before the hairpin going onto the straight. And I think this safety car is going to stay out another lap, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, we'll see, of course. Sarah the Blessed is pushing, though. In the time I've been on board with him, he has not turned off his overtake. He's kept that on the entire time, which seems rather risky, but it does mean as well that he'll start this safety car period with a bit of a disadvantage as well, if it does get underway abruptly. Here we go now, we're coming to the line now, and I do believe that you are correct. We are going to get another lap behind this safety car unless they make a late call for it. So we're going to have to sit behind it yet again. So we'll get to half distance under that, and then we'll have a bit of a sprint for the second half of this race and see how all these varying strategies are going to affect things out there. I'm not sure how it works, but maybe if Serve the Blessed joins the back of the queue before they get to the pit lane, it might just abruptly call it. I have seen that before, we will see, but Zero, either way, is going to dictate the restart. The question is whether he can pull away or if Rock City can move with him and put pressure on him on the restart.
Yeah, Zero, I think, has been told to speed up, actually, under the safety car. I can see the green. Oh, and actually, safety cars in this lap. So the safety car in this lap, and Zero now has to back up the pack. And this is going to be a real tricky scenario now for Zero. Is he going to go straight away? It looks like he wants to get on with things. But the safety car has got to come around that hairpin. And this is going to be really close. Rock City goes into the back rim. And Zero's got back underway. Rock City, 5-second time penalty. That is an undeserved time penalty. One of the most ridiculous starts I think I've seen so far, but we're back underway. Maka right on the back of Rock City, under pressure, and now Rock City, because of that damage, Maka is through and he's up into second. Maze will soon be up to third as well. But safety car start Maze is round, and Rock City comes across on Maze. And the two Mercedes, we saw it earlier with the 2-40 cars, the two Ferraris, and Maze in such a promising position has literally gone from fourth to last.
That, I do have to say, that was too ambitious from Maze. He went for a gap that was always going to close. Further up the road, we're still badly going on there, because Passel's now on the subs, trying to go right there instead of Silas. That's cut off, as Rock City losing places, as you'd expect, with that damage. That was such a bizarre restart. Sammy kind of
Nellis has damage.
Oh, Nellis also has damage. You can see the understeer in that Ferrari. Invictus now lining up the inside line. He's going to draw almost alongside. The Ferrari pulls to the inside. Nellis isn't giving it up easily, but Invictus has that inside inner line. And Nellis holding it right inside, and Silas right there as well. But the understeer is going to kick in now. And through goes Invictus down the inside. He now runs in third place. Nellis understeering right now. Silas goes through as well. Up the front now. We've got more changes of positions. Crawler Damon is up into third place on medium tyres, and I don't want to sound smug here, but at the moment the top three is exactly as I predicted.
Well, let's hope it goes wrong from this point on. I've said
Look at
that.
the midfield!
Midfield really striking here. Nellis is dropping all holes of positions out on track. We went back and forth with Nellis somehow. Out on track, there is Nellis back into the pit lane. Crawler Damon closing up on Maka through turn one. Oh, he tries to go for the gap, that's not there. Through turn one, now through turn two, he's still going to try and go for the gap. That's always going to cut off, and Maka holds on for second position for now. But what a restart. Zero out in front by 1.2 seconds. Maka second, Crawler Damon in third. Maze, by the way, because everyone pitting in front of him, so the Blessed Nellis and Rock City, as Crawler Damon's all over the back here, down in towards turn turn 6, sorry, out on track. I'm miscounting corners. Crawler Damon is through and has got Maka, and he's up into P2 out on track. But Maze is up into 13, and do you know what? Because everyone's stuck in a DRS train, Maze is going to gain, and I've just seen him actually gain 3/10 on Nudelson out in 12th.
But he has got a lot of overtaking to do if he wants to get anywhere near the front, especially now the Crawler Damon looks so prominent in this race. It's all fallen into his hands, it seems like, just like it did at Bahrain. Now we're going to see if the Alfa Romeo driver can see it through from last on the grid. He is now 1.1 seconds away from the racing on much better tyres. He's chasing after a Crawler Damon. If he can make those tyres last, could be on for such an unlikely victory here.
Yeah, I think, honestly, if he gets within that DRS range this lap around, he'll be on top of him and overtaking him next lap around, I think. Nilsson right on the back of Stee and Rambo running down the straight. This is P11 and 12. Out on track, Nilsson very late on the brakes, trying to go around the outside line, but the AlphaTauri hangs on and just parks it on the apex, and Maze is very careful not to pick up a penalty there either. And Crawler Damon, I did say if he gets within the DRS range, it will be there, and he's 4/10 away, and he's broken the DRS to Maka as well, so it's even more crucial. DRS now enabled. Maze is looking for a move on Nilsson in the meantime, coming through turn one. Can Maze get it done? Round the outside he goes, Nilsson on the inside line, and Nilsson hangs on for P12 for now, but Mays is on the back of this queue, and I think it's important for his chances moving forward. Passos, by the way, on a set of softs, he's trying to get through on Silas, but he's really been caught up because I don't think he's a driver of pace that much. He won't be catching through this field as what you might think for the likes of Mays or something like that.
We'll see if he can try and make better of it there. Silas holding up Passos out there. The Racing Point still in front of the Renault. Look at Crawler Damon though. This must be so intimidating for Zero. He cannot shake him, and he will not shake him surely. Crawler Damon now just almost millimeters away from the race. He does, surely he'll grab it on that straight there. Zero has much less grip in those tires, but he's still fighting for it, and he gets a good exit coming off of turn 13. But now the overtake coming in for Crawler Damon. Zero has more of it, but DRS now into play along with the slipstream.
Oh, this is
still
done.
Zero will surely not give it up, but down the inside now Crawler Damon with DRS pulls clear before they even reach the corner. They almost came together. Thankfully, they were able to get away with now. Shimetsky behind is attacking Passos now. Round the outside, heading into the hairpin. The Renault will just about coolly see that inside line, and now Jatrus has taken advantage, found the gap, and slips through now, wheel to wheel, towards the final corner there. And Shimetsky eases across, covers the line, and he will move up into 9th place, just about fending off Jatrusen in that fight. And now Mays on the attack again, towards Stain Rambo, down the inside of the AlphaTauri into turn 1. He's got to be careful not to make contact, but he holds the inside line nicely. Into turn 2 now, he'll take the shorter run. Mays gets through after an incredible sequence of events. Mays now into 11th. You can stop your round of applause there, James. But I'm almost exhausted with that, so please take over, James, because the racing out here is incredible and still looks to be maintaining that way. So we have just about 11.5 laps to go in this race, and Crawler Damon now has a commanding lead at the front.
He does indeed. 1.8 seconds now, the gap out in front, but I'm applauding Mays because he got Nilsson round the outside through the final corner. Nilsson lost it out on track nearly. He's still on the back of Stian Rambo, but Mays is flying. He is like, honestly, a knife through butter. He is cutting through this field like Mac the Knife, quite literally, out on track. That's 2 puns that you will know if you're an older person tuning into the stream. Mays right on the back of Chatroos, out on track. Passos nearly losing it as well through the hairpin. Schmitsky right on the back of him, and Schmitsky in fact down the inside. Oh, he nearly loses it through the hairpin, and now Mays is looking for his third overtake out on track, and now Chatroos pulls the inside line. Mays on the outside line. We see Schmitsky and Passos going side by side just in front of these guys. Look at the ominous clouds as well as Chatroos pulls to the right hand side, and Mays is through. Passos and Schmitsky. Schmitsky gets the move done. Brilliant stuff, as now Invictus and Tommy King, and Tommy King is round through the final corner. Just seen that in front slightly. There was the yellow flag in sector 3. It's actually, Nilsson that has spun coming through the final couple of corners. Sammy King got out wide, and it looked like he made a mistake. Mays down the inside. Can he get the move done on Passos? Passos is there. No, and Mays backs off for now. And oh my goodness me, Crawler Damon's got commanding advantage, 2.4 seconds, but look at the clouds. They're beginning to hover out on track, and we could quickly see a change from cloudy conditions into rain.
Well, we're going to have to keep a very close and eager eye on that one, James, because this could really hot up near the end. We have 10.5 laps to go, and what has been such an action-packed Chinese Grand Prix, and I hope it continues. Up at the front though is Nilsson now, retires in the pit lane, so he's had enough out there in this race. Sorry, what was that, James?
Nilsson has he came out of his pit box and then retired the car, served the yellow flag in sector 1 for his car. He retired in the pit lane, don't get me wrong, but he retired when he came out the pit box. Looking at the mini-map, certainly, he looked like he came out the box when he retired the car. Very strange.
So you can see his AI just continuing on, just like Jeffrey's did earlier on in the race. Hopefully, of course, that doesn't interrupt any of the drivers out there. The yellows are still out there on track. His car has not been removed. He does back out the session, but his car seems to be going around. Still parked to the side of the track and should now be removed just about. We'll see now. I'm keeping an eye on Mays because his charge has been incredible, but he has started to hit a wall behind the Renault Passos. Now, Passos though does not have DRS to defend itself. Will any gap open up for the Mercedes driver? The ends are turn 1 now, and maybe the gap will open on the inside of Mays. Maybe we'll just take it. Opportunistic as he's proved so far in this stint. Pastel's doing everything he can to around the outside, but Maze sees his opportunity, gets through it, makes it on then Jatros going round the outside of Pastels at turn 3, now into turn 4 and through turn 5, they're wheel to wheel, but the Haas will claim the inside line. Pastels trying to fight back on the brakes, but he can't. Brilliant. And Jatros, fantastic manoeuvre as well to follow through on Maze in the 10th place now. That was superb from Jatros and Maze as well. Pastels now starting to drop back as those tyres start to go off. Maze up to 9th. What can he not do at this point after a disaster early on in the race? He's charging through, and now Schmitzke is the next driver of this race.
Pastels needs to come into the pits, I think. Look at the gap that Jack Roos has just pulled out to Pastels. Pastels needs to pit now, go on to another set of soft compound of tyres and try and get those tyres to the end of the race. He's just got to be careful on his tyre degradation. Maka, by the way, is right on the back of Zero, closing down, and unbelievably, how on earth is Maka in P3 on his debut? Out on track, we spoke about it with caller Damon. Schmitzke actually is now attacking Silas and waltzes past him as the cameras just go A-wide there. Oh, and Schmitzke! Diving down the inside, contacts Satmi King and he spun! Unbelievable! Satmi King, I think, was coming across in the line. We're going to cut as well to the battle for second because Maka's still on the back of Zero. Coming through turn 1, not quite close enough, and Schmitzke and Pastels both into the pit lane. But Schmitzke, I think it was the last gasp attempt. I'm not sure if he tried to go for that and then Satmi King cut him off. I was late to the party on that.
Yeah, but either way, it's a disaster for Schmitzke, who's ran very solidly in this race, but it's all go downhill now. It's going to need a remarkable fight back to get back in. Now, is going to be soft tyres for both he and Pastels. We'll see if they can fight through. Rock City fastest lap goes past both of them, though, but he is a long way off the back, and I don't think any of those drivers are going to be able to get back into this race. It's serious contention, at least, unfortunately. In the battle for second place, Maka has been sitting very close, certainly within DRS of Zero for quite a number of laps now. But Zero has a massive ERS advantage, and he's really using that to good effect as Maka has not been able to really get to him despite having 7 laps, fresher tyres, and now dropping back actually almost out of DRS. Zero's used quite a lot of ERS on this lap to maybe just try and get rid of him. We'll see if he can make that work though. Gap is just about a second. Invictus now getting right up to Jimmy Storm towards the hairpin. Looking for the inside lane, he's going to claim it. Can Invictus get through here? Lay on the brakes though as Jimmy Storm around the outside pinches him to the inside, but Invictus has not let this go. They battle for traction on the exit. Invictus nearly goes around but has to yield it, and now Maze attacking Silas almost, when Silas is able to get in front there. Maze having to settle for 8th just for the time being though. Invictus attacking again now on Jimmy Storm to the inside of turn 1. Can he get it all stopped and turned in? Yes, he can. Invictus this time is getting the move done. He covers the line into turn 2, and Invictus, many numbers, now into 4th place in front of Jimmy Storm. Great battle between these two, but ultimately the McLaren driver, the Invictus, just about comes on in front and now runs in P4 out there.
The Invictus, that will forever go down in history, that one. Invictus 4th, Jimmy Storm in 5th. It's like I am the Jibby from Friday Night Dinner, if you know what I mean. Go and look it up. Jimmy Storm right on that back of Invictus still, and he's still going to fight this. They're both on the same strategy, and actually it's just saying that Jimmy Storm's just made a slight mistake, and now Invictus, many numbers, is going to pull out that gap out on track. But Silas really pressurising Satmi King, and I think Satmi King has got front wing damage, if I'm not mistaken, on that car. Might have got damage from incidents. There's a yellow flag in sector 3, and Maka has spun. Oh. Maka has spun, coming through the final the final hairpin, I should say, out on track, as I can hear myself weirdly in the background there. It's even worse now. Silas right on the back of Satmi King and fixed now. My Maze as well, closing up to the back of Silas. But caller Damon, 3-second time penalty picked up. He leads by 4.5 seconds. If Zero can keep those tyres relatively fresh, we're going to see a crossover period before the end of the race between the hards and the mediums, and Zero is not entirely out of this, I think.
Definitely not. We will see. It isn't over till the Fat Lady 6, and we still have nearly 7 laps left in this race between us and the checkered flag. So keep an eye out. We'll see if Zero can try and turn the tables in that leading fight. Further back, Satmi King is really under pressure now. I'm not sure if he has the damage that you mentioned, but Silas is reining him in nevertheless, and Maze with him as well. Jatros is actually going with Maze relatively nicely. Maze nearly to the back of Silas, heading into turn 6. Is able to avoid him and has to sit back for now. Silas looks to be the quicker, certainly, out of the two hard runners in this fight, and certainly with much fresher tires as well. Nearly loses it, however, going through turn 7. We'll keep that one together, but further up the field, Mac, after that mistake, after that spin, left the tyres. What's happened, James?
Not sure if Jimmy Stoll might have had a little bit of contact there with Maze. The camera angle was a bit shocking, but Maze was all over the back of Silas. He's trying to fight through at every given cost, but Silas, I think, just came across him possibly, and Maze currently in P8 out on track. I think I might have said Jibby Storm. It was Silas, actually, the racing point in 7th, Maze in 8th, and now he's going to try and run down the straight. Invictus is getting the run on Macca, though. Macca with right side end plate damage on that car. Invictus to the inside line. Gets the move done, and that might be a sight we see in Imola this weekend. Salas as well on Sammy King. Contact Macca through. Not sure. I think Macca just lost it, possibly.
No, I was watching. There was wheel-to-wheel contact between him and Invictus, and yeah, unfortunately, the Ferrari. However, race has collapsed in just the space of a couple of laps. Look at Jimmy Storm, though, on the back of Invictus. Can't quite find the line. Heading into turn 1, and Invictus will cut it off now. Now runs in the podium. So this is looking very impressive for the McLaren. Can he keep that going? They're being reeled in, though, I think, by the group behind. Because Silas is now in front of Sammy King. As I say, makes a mistake, and Sammy King goes through on the inside. We'll get him in a 5th, and Jatron as well is in front of Maze now. And now, looking at the inside, does not go for it. It's getting caught on the inside, and now Maze back around the outside trying to retaliate. Can he find the gap on the outside to drive forward towards turn 7? Jatron and Maze will to wheel into one of the fastest corners of the calendar. Can Maze get it done? Yes, he does. He comes back at Jatron. What a battle between these two. Jatron go through one way or another, but Maze fights back, now runs 7th, and back at the two cars in front. I think if Silas were able to get through on Sammy King yet again and manage to convert it, he might have a run at getting up to the cars fighting for the podium up ahead. We don't know as well how the medium runner is going to make out of this. They still have a job to do, try and get those tires to the end. Surely Silas is going to be on the offensive here now. Closes up to him, and surely this may well be a done deal. He pulls to the inside line and may just get it done. I'm looking for the back. Maze is close indeed. And he might line it up to the inside. Is he going to make it 3 wide? No, he thinks better of it. We'll just back out of that one, but he may still have a run at Sammy King. Gets alongside it ahead. I think they're going to go 3 wide now.
No way.
They go 3 wide towards the final corner. One or both of them has to yield, surely. In the end, Sammy King round the outside. And Silas going round now.
Maze is through, and all of this as well, and he's trying to get 2 positions for 1, no matter about the contact. Maze is through, and he's up into 5th. Great stuff on Sammy King. It's just all boiling over. The stewards are going to be so busy out on track, but I've got to commend Maze for his driving out on track. He has been, I think, arguably one of the cleanest drivers in terms of one-to-one racecraft out on track here tonight. He weaves in frustration at Sammy King. No wonder, I think, the driving standards have got to improve, and if you are listening to this on repeat, improve for next week, please.
Yeah, I think Sammy King was probably very over-ambitious, I think, going for a 3 wide move. And it's a corner that you could barely fit 2 cars around, let alone 3. And Silas was just the unfortunate, almost victim of that there. I think it should have just been him and Mace disputing the position. Sammy King tried to push it, but ultimately what's going up for the back?
Macca diving down the inside. How on earth he got that car stopped is beyond me, but Nellis is going to have to run around the outside, but on fresh softs, Macca just disposed of him. Coming through turn 7, job done. You watch that back later on. Honestly, you will not imagine how Macca got that car stopped. It is absolutely unbelievable. Jack Roos and Sammy King are now side by side. Jibby Storm as well is right on the back of Invictus and gets a good run out, but Invictus stays in P3. Jack Roos fell through on that fresher mediums, and he's into 6th.
Yeah, Jack Roos now, can he keep up? He's out, Sammy King does go to the pit lane now, so he must have sustained damage, and yeah, he is now going to go through, and yeah, heartbreak for Sammy King. Another driver that's raced just crumbles in a matter of laps out there. So, up at the front though, and you mentioned that Zero's tyres may well come into play. It doesn't look like that at the moment, and Crawler Damon has continued to pull away. 7.5 seconds is now the advantage, and if he just avoids a puncture, I think he'll be to the good there. Out of the last corner, Mac has gone round again up at the back of the field. It was such an incredible fight back from Maka, and looked at the moment like he was in a podium fight, but just a series of mistakes has really caught him out there. And yeah, Maka now will be headed for very lowly amounts of points out there on track. Now, it may finally be getting, as I said, I was not beginning to settle down because Invictus is making a mistake. Jimmy Storm on the outside will take that third place away. Invictus making the error. I was just about to say the race is beginning to settle down in the last few laps. I should never say that. Not the action that we've been provided here today. Will Invictus try and fight back at Jimmy Storm? He's immediately on the overtake. He wants to claim that position back because he thinks it is rightfully his. He thinks he should be able to get through it now. To the inside he's going to go. Jimmy Storm trapped on the outside, and Invictus, after an error earlier on in the lap, reclaims third place, but Jimmy Storm's now over, and look behind, Maze now has joined the party after contact with Rock City back there. Now he runs in 5th place and is hunting for a podium now.
Yeah, Jimmy Storm is going to have a comeback though, and Invictus running down towards turn 1. Maze has got a chance at a podium, and I think these guys might have penalties as well, so that might factor into play out on track as well. But it's very interesting to see how this is going on. Sapmi King will try and improve up the field as well. But honestly, this race, just having a look at some of the comments that are filtering through, Nilsson, so exhausting, he says. Stian is blocking me 5 laps, but Maze is in the back of him. He lets me by, which is quite, yeah, it's going to be one of those things. I'm sure that's discussed with the steward. Sapmi King, however, is through easily on Schmitsky in the meantime, and he's up into P10. But look at Maze. Let's just reiterate where he came from out on track. 15th position is where he started. 1-5 out on track, and now he is up. No, sorry, 16th, I should say. 1-6 he started. I can't count. Maze is on the back now of Jimmy Storm and Invictus for 3rd position. So that sink in. But Crawler Damon arguably is going to be the driver of the day. From the back of the field, has dominated this race. The safety car came out. I said the medium runners as well. Those guys that carried it on further would be there or thereabouts. Crawler Damon has certainly made that stick, it seems, and I think he was the one actually that might have come into the pit lane. Maze now closing up on Jimmy Storm. 2 more laps to go. Look at the overspeed of Maze. Is he going to go to the inside line? Down the inside he goes, and he pushes Jimmy Storm out wide, and great one-to-one racing once again from Maze. But Jimmy Storm gets the run back, and he uses a bit of overtake, but up to good effect, and Jimmy Storm is back through, and he's up into 4th. Maze now is going to fight this once again. The yo-yo effect has begun onto the second last lap. Maze now comes across on Jimmy Storm, and he's through this time. Maze is through, and he's up into P4, and again, the one-to-one racecraft that Maze is showing out on track is just sublime. If you want an example to follow Maze.
We'll see if he can try and serve it one last time. Smetsky's gone round to the back of the field, and yeah, another driver that's race has fell apart in the final stages here at Shanghai. Now, I just took a quick look through the penalties for some of the front runners. Now, Crawler Damon has 3 seconds. Zero did pick up a 5-second penalty, but I think he will just about be safe to that. Invictus and Maze are both clean, and so it is a straight fight for the podium out there, as it turns out. So can Maze make it work as we head into the final stages of this Chinese Grand Prix? He is reining in Invictus now, and we can have an enthralling fight for P3 on track. What could it have been for Maze? He could have a real run and at least a top 2 finish, maybe even the race win if things had just turned out a little differently for him. But in the end, after a brief run, after running with his teammate, he has the fight for 3rd place out with Invictus. But Invictus is 7/10 to the good as they head down the back straight towards the hairpin for the penultimate time. Maze DRS over, but he's not got much ERS. Neither does Invictus though. There's 5/10 in it, and then it's going to be a straight fight for the last lap. He closes up hugely on the brakes. Invictus gets a decent exit, but he is surely going to be up against it now. Final lap ahead of us at Shanghai. Maze, I don't think we'll be close enough to turn 1. I think his only chance will be going towards the hairpin. Can he get it done for the podium? Right at the end here, the battle for the podium is still on there. Less than a lap to go here at China.
Yeah, but Maze is going to have the effect of the tyres beginning to fall off. Invictus, I think, and Maze are probably around the same point in terms of their tyre wear out on track. So Maze has got to make this stick. If he wants to do it, I say try and put Invictus under a bit of pressure, force him into a mistake, and try and get P3 out on track. And he has gone defensive. Invictus, he knows and he realises that Maze is a credible and dangerous threat in behind. Jimmy Storm and Jack Roos as well in P5 and 6. Passel's trying to look for a move on Nellis further down the field through turn 1 and 2, but that's not going to be pulled off. Crawler Damon, though, is going to have a second interview of the week, pretty much from last week onwards. He won last time out in Bahrain, and now he's going to do it right from the back of the field as well. We continue to run on board with that battle with Maze and Invictus, but it's going to be a case of who finishes first, because Cam leads as well in Division 4 out on track, and it's a full wet race there now out on track as Crawler Damon comes through the final couple of corners. I'm just watching the mini-map. I don't think Maze is going to be close enough. I might be wrong, but Crawler Damon through the final corner is going to take the win here in China. Across the line he comes. Let's flick to the battle for fourth, because here comes Maze. Now, round the outside, very late on the brakes. Can he get the move done? Can he get the car stopped? No. Invictus goes defensive very late on. Maze has got one more chance through the final corner. Could be a photo finish between them both. Invictus gets the better run out. Now, Maze has got to run it to the line, but Invictus pulls away by a tenth of a second. He gets third. So Crawler Damon on top, 0 in second, Invictus in third, Maze filling out in fourth. Jippy Storm, by the way, across the line in fifth down to 7. Salas across the line in 8th. With Rock City in 9th, very unlucky. Out on track with that 5-second penalty. I'm sure that will get removed. Satmi King across the line in 8th now. Ooh. He jumps up on penalties. Nellis, Maka, Passels all fighting for position, but Nellis now through in P11 out on track. Maka is going to come across the line in P12. Dan, get the interviewees at the ready as well. Passels across the line in 13th. Schmitsky will be coming across the line in 14th. He is very unhappy, I think, with his performance out on track. Just caught in, well, all sorts of carnage, I think, out on track as Schmitsky comes across the line in 14th. And Serve the Blessed, he's got no ERS left, bless him, out on track. He is trying his hardest. He's trying to think like this is more like NASCAR down the straight now with no ERS, but now down into the braking zone of 10-14. We wait for the Haas driver now to come round. Oh, and he's very squirrely coming out of there. But the American is going to get some show time. And in a week where the US election is going to be happening next week, Serve the Blessed comes across the line to finish in 15th position. And that is it for tonight here in China. Hopefully we'll get some interviews in as well. Serve the Blessed coming across the line on 15th. But Crawler Damon takes the win. And he takes, inevitably, the fans' driver of the day. You mentioned him for third. I didn't expect he would get first.
Yeah, that was a huge surprise. I just threw it in as a bit of a wild card, but I suppose that was in the end very successful. Wow, Crawler Damon, what a drive that was! Yet again, the race did fall into his lap, but you have to credit him for just the sheer pace that he showed and how easily he was able to pull away from 0 in the end. That was hugely impressive, and of course we'll hopefully get a little word with him later on as well. I'm just handling some of these invites right now, so just excuses for a minute. We should get these drivers in relatively shortly, and yeah, hopefully we hear from as many of them as we can.
Yeah, there is Crawler Damon though to the top step of the podium and finishes in first by only the comfortable margin. When it comes up of 11.8 seconds in the end. 0 in second with Invictus in third. Maze from 16th on the grid up to 4th. Really good race. Considering he was at the back of the field after the spin under the safety car. Really good recovery. Jack Roos in 5th. Steen Rambo in 6th. Jibby Storm 7th. Satmi King in 8th. Takes the fastest lap point as well. Salas in 9th with Rock City in 10th. Nellis in 11th. Maka in 12th, picking up his first point of the season. Passels in 13th. Schmitsky 14th. Serve the Blessed in 15th. Nilsson, Freak Gronk and Jeffrey from pole position out of the race and was the first one to retire out on track. Why do drivers retire, you may ask? There's points available, they may as well continue on, and I totally get you if you are thinking that and saying that in the comments section as well. But we hope to have some of the interviewees very soon indeed. But we go from China to Spain next week at the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalonia. What can we expect? Because, again, it's one of those tracks, I think, that the drivers hate, but we love to commentate on.
And as Invictus does join us, I just want to mention as well quickly that Crawler Damon doesn't have a mic available to him, so unfortunately we won't be hearing from him here tonight. But on Catalonia, yeah, it's this track which I'd say the first 2 sectors I absolutely adore, last sector not so much, but it usually produces decent action. It is a more difficult track to overtake than most, so we'll see how that all unfolds, but Division 5, I think as always, it should be a great race.
Have a look at League of Europe Division 1 if you want to see Daka's driving performances around there as well.
Oh, please do not, no.
We have Invictus with us in the commentary box, and Invictus, 3rd place in the end. You had to fight for it. Maze was right on your tail. Talk us through your race.
There's not much to talk about, really. I just, wanted to finish a race for the first time, so...
You certainly managed that and in the podium.
Oh, it was mental. It's my first podium, so I'm very hot right now, and very... That was a lot of effort. Maze was on me.
Yeah. He's quick.
He is very quick, isn't he?
He was on medium tyres, wasn't he? I don't know how he didn't get past me on, I don't know what corner that is. The second to last one.
10-14.
Yeah. I tried to go around my outside. Oh, that was great. That was a good race.
He is speechless. He is honestly speechless, I think, in the commentary box.
Yeah.
But I'll put Dan on the spot as well. Have you got any questions for him?
Yeah, I don't mean to offend you here, but you have had a history of promising great results with a lot of pace and not quite delivering on it. But tonight, though, absolutely different. So, is there anything that you've changed recently and in recent races to just get to this point? And can we expect to see more of this in the future from you?
Probably not. No. But
have some faith. Come on.
I wouldn't say I've changed anything. I don't know. I don't enjoy China, and I seem to do better at tracks that I don't enjoy. So.
Are there any tracks that you don't enjoy that are coming up?
The next few, until we get to France, which is So the next one, I like France. So just most of this season, honestly.
So I'm expecting a lot of podiums from you then.
Oh, hopefully. That'll be great.
I like the honesty though. I really like the honesty coming out of this interview. And looking ahead to Spain, obviously you haven't said yet you don't like the track, but how do you think you're going to get on around there? Because I think a driver like you would take to Spain quite well.
Yeah, I've got the pace in Spain. I like to think I'm pretty quick at Spain. It's just actually finishing the race.
And if it's anything to go by from tonight, I hope you do finish the race, and I hope you do finish the race and end up in here next week, which would be fantastic.
Yeah, hopefully this is the start of something great.
This is the start. This is the start of the runs of interviews that we're going to do with him now. You watch. Every week an Invictus interview is guaranteed.
Definitely.
Thank you so much, Invictus. Though I'll let you go and enjoy your night. And that was Invictus, and I actually haven't heard him on the mic before, and that was quite interesting.
Yeah. So as I've already confirmed, Crawler Damon will be able to join us. I'm not entirely sure on Zero. I have invited him to the group, but of course we haven't heard anything just yet from him. So hopefully we get word quite soon, and of course hopefully he's able to join us, get another interview with certainly one of the stars of tonight, Zero. Of course, led for most of it, and it could be argued that without the safety car, he may well have been the race winner tonight.
He could have been, and I think the race just turned on its head from that point of the safety car. Well, obviously we had Crawler Damon pit under that safety car. He just took the race by the scruff of the neck. I think he was down in something like 7th or 8th when he came out that safety car. And with everything that unfolded around him, it's one of those races where luck was really on your side. And Crawler Damon, once again, has taken the full amount of points pretty much nearly on offer. He's taken the 2 race wins and currently leads the championship going into next week, which will of course be in Spain. But that is it for us tonight. We've reached the end of what has been a hectic stream. I've been called Aiden once or twice during this stream tonight as well. I'm not letting that go.
Just the ones. No, you are.
David here wants the head commentator spot, we found out. So tune in next week for the trials and tribulations of one commentary team here in Division 5.
This may well be the last one, who knows?
Yeah, if he comes in sick next week, don't blame him. Blame me. That is the end, though, here tonight for TTML Division 5. For myself and Dan, please take care of yourselves. Please stay safe. We will see you next week for Spain. The next time the action will be live, of course, out on track will be TTML Division 1. And that is going to be... Oh, no, actually, it's the Sprint Cup that is going to be taking place. I need to advertise that, don't I, as my head commentator role. So let me get that up now. That was... I'll just get the tweet up now. It's the EML Challenge Cup. So we're going to be having 2 races, or 2 weeks of races, I should say. So Group A is going to be taking place at 8 PM UK time. Group B is taking place at 7 PM UK time, and that's on the 1st and the 8th of November. The 1st and the... Have I got mixed up there? Or is that the graphic that's wrong?
No, I think that's right. I'm confused.
Week 1, Sunday the 1st of November, and then we've got Week 2, Sunday the 6th of December.
6th of December. Oh, is that what it's? Yeah.
6th of.
I'm sure they're on consecutive weeks. Yeah, that's rather puzzling.
Yeah, I think it's the 8th of November. I think it's the Sunday that is going to be happening there. But that's going to be Group A and Group B, and you're commentating, I do believe.
Yes, on the, rather bizarrely, Group A, considering my esports team is in Group B. But
I used to be able to watch them though.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
We shall see what happens, but that is on Sunday nights. If you do want to tune in for that, of course, do tune in for that event for the EML Challenge Cup. And Austria-Britain races 1 and 2, and the grand final, Italy and Belgium are the first 2 rounds there as well. I think it is a 25% race and one-shot qualifying as well, if I'm not mistaken.
I think you're right on that one, and not 100% sure, but I do believe that's going to be the format for that event. Yeah.
Well, I've just retweeted out the tweet anyway, so you can have a look for yourself at the event and have a look at the graphic and who's going to be racing on that event as well. But we better get off the air before we get kicked off the air. Thank you so much for watching here tonight in TTML Division 5. For myself and Dan, please stay safe. Please keep to social distancing and everything like that. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, goodbye.